Why are you waiting?
Why?
Well, because even my mom, and I thought, oh, I'm going to get in trouble with my brothers and sisters, but I don't really care. And everybody was saying, oh, no, you don't want to wait. They're wonderful. And I taught that with my children from a young age. Look at how cute this one is. And even when they're 2 and 3, they would be delighting in that baby, and everything that baby did, they were involved in and got excited about, so that they have a love of children as well. But anyway, that they went back and had children right away. This niece that was going to put it off, she called me. I don't even think it was 6 weeks later. I want to tell you the news before I tell my mother, she's going, because she's not going to be happy. She was. And even this is at the same time they were all pregnant at the same time, and they're the same age. I happened to see that one boy, I had the same thing. I have 3 that are the same age. They're 11 years old right now, but two girls and a boy. And I asked the Lord for that. I said, awesome. I want that when I have children. I want to have that that I have grandchildren the same, just like my mother. Right. Anyway, and I asked, and he gave that to me. And it was a boy that was born first, and then to 2 girls. I mean, how is that even possible? Really? And one was a daughter and 2 daughter-in-laws. It was exactly the same. Anyway, the one boy, I ran into him, and he said, oh no, Aunt Erin, 2 is enough for us. No, we're not going to have it. And I said, and I was like quickly talking to my husband. I had help me to, persuade him. Anyway. And so right away I said, you mean you're the 3rd in your family? What would have happened if your parents had not had the 2 of you? I mean, just had your 2 brothers. When they had to have a 3rd to have perfection. I knew him. And he goes, yeah. And here's the interesting thing. Each one of those 2 specifically, when they had said no more, each one of those said that that brought in the joy and something totally that changed the dynamics of their entire family, because it was a child that was trying to be stopped from being born. But it was born, and it had a purpose, and so all of them are now, they're graduating from college. Those grandchildren, they're my mother's grandchildren, they're my nieces and nephews. But and what joys they are, they just turned out to be wow. So I think it's important to know your enemy, and not be, because these are the schemes, and look at each thing as a scheme and find out, I'm not going to fall for that. But ultimately, it's just trusting him with your fertility, trusting him to build your house, and anything that is causing a concern, go to him. Even if it's a medical thing, don't run to your doctor or ask him. Ask your husband first. And then if he says go, or if he says bring it up, then you can trust that no matter what route, whether it's a home birth with a midwife or whatever it is, you can trust him. And it's not us to advise or counsel or anything, because we don't know about anything, oh, I'm on birth control. Should I get, I don't, you just need to talk to your husband about it, and he will guide you, and he will make sure everything, every concern, and especially if there's a fear that comes in, you need to take that to him, because that's how the enemy really, gets us off course.
Definitely.
So once the fear is gone, and then you can see the way, so much more. I just wanted to tell you, it has been 37, now it's 38 minutes. I know that you usually have the 40 minutes, but I'll let you, and I apologize. There's somebody mowing outside. I don't know if you can hear it, but honestly, that's what the noise is.
Okay, I'm going to end off with just one question. The biggest lie, I would say, is that children are a financial burden. So I love that one. Yes. I want to ask you, was having your children, and it's 7, was it a financial burden?
So I am blessed, because I was 2nd generation. I had an example with my mother, because came from huge wealth. I mean, wealth and as far as her father was a millionaire. Okay. So we're talking wealth. But when she eloped with my father, it wasn't like that anymore. You know, she forfeited all of that. But what she wanted was the big family. But I was so amazed because what she told me, and she'd tell anyone who would listen, is that God provides for the children he creates and he blesses you with. She'd say, that's it. And she would say it was amazing because when they had just the one, that's how much money they had. But the more children they had, the more that my income would increase. And then as the children started to move out, when it got down to just the two of it was me and my younger sister, that's when he made the less. But that was never anything that the enemy could use to stop her, was that. And then I came into it with that. And one of the things I wanted to do more than anything was, and we were talking about weight in another one, I didn't want to be at the time when I was having my children, oh, if you have a big family, you're just going to be big and fat, you know, that's what they would say. Now, my mother was a heavier woman, but I just told my husband, the Lord at the time, I wasn't really calling him my husband, just use me as an example, because that it isn't. I just wanted everything that prevented women from having children and having a large family. And one of them was also, you're going to be poor. You won't be able to go out to eat. You'll have to, the children will suffer. They won't have all the things that they need. Now, let me just interject. Some of the children have all those things are the most miserable children and the ones who go astray. So let's keep that in mind. You know, they may not have all these things, but the children who even do struggle a little bit, if they do it with the right heart and not the bitterness, they're better for it. However, we didn't. We never went without or didn't live a over the top, not over the top, but you know, we went out, we had clothing. My children in the same way. And the interesting thing is that their father was not a good provider, you know, in that sense. Nevertheless, I knew that was not going to affect our lifestyle. I just knew that had nothing to do with it. I was able to subtract that, believe what my mother had said. And that's why it's very important that we talk to not just our own daughters, but all daughters, all younger, speak the truth into their lives and say, that's not true. One of the things they talk about is, oh, this is how much it's going to cost to raise a child. It's ludicrous. One, they add in how much it's going to cost for college and this and that. I'm not even going to send my children to college. So you can take that right off. And the other thing is that even I'm just so thankful that my husband was like, it costs us nothing to have, if you have a baby at home, that's free. Okay. So there you go. Check, you know, and then, and it's so many people don't want any more children. You can have as much, all the clothes, baby things can be passed down because people have one or two children. It's just almost free. People just want to give it away, or definitely cheap. If you're talking about that. If you breastfeed the baby, if there's no cost there, you know, and that's one that I was adamant about, because a lot of people say, oh, and I'm afraid of that. God made a baby inside of you and kept it fed. He's going to continue with that. So I'm a big proponent. And yes, people have run into problems and things. I ran into it with my second one. He stopped nursing, but thankfully, I was with a doctor who said, hey, this is how you cure that. You know, here's the source. This is what you do. And I had that, you know, support. So I give that to other women. So I think just having that whole thing, but I was just determined that my children would do that, even to the fact when we had all 7 and we lived a family of 9, so 7 children. My mother, because they were spread out, my brother, and I'm the 6th, my brother was in the Navy when I was born. So she never had a family of 9. I didn't grow up like that
Oh,
because they were
okay.
spread out,
Hmm.
But for me, I was going to add it up, maybe 10 years, a good
Hmm.
long time. It was the family of 9. And I remember one of the things that I was concerned about is that when we moved to Missouri, and they didn't have, like, for all of us to kind of go on vacation, and to, it was expensive, and where we're thinking, oh, and we were staying at a really crummy hotel, and the children were lining the floors, and all I could think about, I laid in bed just talking to the Lord, my husband, and saying, and he was becoming more and more my husband at that point, and I said, I didn't grow up like this. And I don't want my children to do that. And I just appealed to him and said, I want more for them. And I can't do it. I don't know what to do, but I'm going to trust you. And then it immediately, something incredible happened where we were asked to do commercials for the amusement parks in the area. We got free passes to all of those. We were asked to go to Dollywood, which is and do commercials there. I mean, it was like, and they would put us up in hotels, and we also got like a timeshare thing where I'm taking advantage of that now. I'm still being blessed with it. He just took over, which I didn't know anything about these things, and yet he did it. I'm just saying, we have no idea, what he has, waiting for us if we trust him for anything and everything, and especially with children. But I just think that's one of the biggest lies we could go on, the whole thing about the cost of it. And there isn't, a good education, best one is by teaching by your parents, so what is there, even food and things, good food and not junk food. But we went out to eat, it's in the workers at home once a week. So my children just grew up feeling very blessed and very upper middle class, but we weren't financially on paper. We weren't. We were definitely middle class. And during Restoration and when he was gone, we were definitely in poverty, sheer poverty. But even then we lived beautifully. We lived, not the best place where we lived, but I mean, we felt rich, and they never, even looking back at some of their happiest times. So that's definitely a lie too. And it's not like people aren't in poverty and they're not struggling with it, but as soon as you turn it over to him, not the government, don't go to anybody, go to him and just let him do it, and just say, I trust you. I really, really do. And when he sees that heart, he wants to do something amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so definitely my takeaway from this, what you've shared now towards the end, is as each child comes, he provides as needed. He's not going to immediately.
My mom would love to hear you say that, Atarah. She's smiling. Oh, yeah.
It's as he, as he blesses your womb, he's blessing your finances. So I think definitely.
It kind of ties in with poverty mentality. Here's another chapter, another book that ties in with those. And it is all the books and the courses that we have, he created it's a net, they're all tied together. They're to support for those women who are falling, to, gather them up and to see this is tied to this. And it is exactly that. It is the poverty mentality that large families get into and assume that's what that is. And it's just not that way. And it's not like we all want to live lavish lifestyles or anything, because that isn't where happiness is either. But he doesn't want us to suffer lack. He wants to show his power, what he's able to do, and he wants us to be willing to be a testimony, but we have to go through the test. to get that
We always
testimony,
do.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm
Definitely.
learning now at this late age is to really enjoy the tests and trials and even crisis,
Yeah.
recently going through one, and it's like, I just can't wait to see how's he going to get me out of this? How's he
What
going to do this? And get
And you
excited.
can-
And I had to ask him for that because I said, I'm not there. I am not. I'm still like, oh no, not a test, not a trial, please. But I said, what you want me to do this? I want to get excited about it. So help me. And now I really am. So I wish I knew that earlier in my journey for sure. Ask him.
Yeah.
I want to get excited about the test of the trial and to kind of put together a testimony portfolio, of all these different things, because it's our book, and it's what we can offer, to everyone. And it's a wonderful gift to give.
Yeah. So, Erin, to end off, I just remembered the book Supernatural Birth. Was it written by Jackie Mees?
Yes, Mize.
Okay.
Yeah, her
So
name
that's
is
what
Jackie Mize.
Mize.
Yes.
Mize,
And then there's audio tapes too. I would love if somebody read that, lived it, and not to take away from hers, because I'm sure she would want it to branch out, but to kind of bring it into this. So we'll see that. Also, my name is Erin Thiele, by the way. It's like the color teal, not Thiele.
Yeah.
Just so I thought I would tell, because I know, like, I'll hear something, I think, oh, is that how you pronounce it? But anyway, I'm just like, it's Jackie Mize, Erin Thiele.
Yeah.
No, I'm just
So Erin,
just
I don't know why, but my computer's saying that the battery's running low. So I don't want to get shut off. My PC battery.
Oh, good. All right. Well, it's good because it's 50 minutes. So I think it's probably wise to end it. But if you want to, talk on, or if you see in the conversation, there's different topics that come up, we could focus on just one particular one that we've touched on, or ones, because there's so much to this that we haven't touched on, that we could have another one. But I'd love to come back and be your guest. Thank you for having me, Tara.
Thank you so much for coming and speaking and sharing. So thank you so much, Erin, and we'll say goodbye.
All right.
Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Hi there, ladies. Please come and visit us at hopeatlost.com. Click on blog, where we share daily praise reports, ministry information, lessons, and ministry resources. You can sign up to receive our daily newsletter. You can click on free courses for our free marriage courses, and you can click on our give button, which will take you to PayPal, where you can donate and give and sow into the fertile soil of restoring marriage.